Fireworks in the sky. But the truth's still buried underground. Royal low. Yeah. They told me, wave the flag while the chains still clank. Told me praise the names on the blood-soaked banks. Told me freedom was born in the room full of men who wrote liberty down while they own human skin. So fuck your founding fathers and the myths they made. I don't pledge to the lie, I don't kneel to the page. You can light up the sky, I remember the smoke from the fields, from the ships, from the necks in the row. You call it independence, I call it selective. You call it patriotic, I call it protective. Of the story so fragile it cracks when questioned. Truth knocks once and they call it aggression. Yeah. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, yeah, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. They say, look how far we came. I say, look what it cost. Every courthouse got a shadow, every victory got lost. They gave statues to the takers, made heroes out of thieves. Put their faces on the money while the hungry couldn't breathe. Don't lecture me on freedom from a stolen land stage. Don't quote old documents with blood on the page. Don't tell me be grateful for a seat at the table when my people built the room and got treated unstable. You can't buy me through the truth, you can dress it in stars, but the anthem still echoes like chains behind bars. I don't hate the people, I hate the disguise. I hate when the guilty get praised as the wise. Red for the blood they spill, white for the lies they told, blue for the bruises left on the bodies they sold. Don't ask me to celebrate what never included mine. I came with the receipts, I came to redraw the line. Fuck your founding fathers, I don't owe them praise. They built a nation on our backs, then told us smile through the pain. Fuck your founding fathers, let the fireworks cry. This ain't freedom for the people. If the truth still gotta hide, no justice, no peace, no lie gets crowned. We don't worship old ghosts when the roots scream loud. Fuck your founding fathers. On the 4th of July, I'm lighting up the truth while they light up the sky. Don't call it hate when the wound speaks back. Don't call it division when our name was fact. Don't call it progress while the system still bites. Don't call it freedom if we still gotta fight. I'm not here for comfort, I'm not here to pretend. I'm here for the children who deserve better than this, better than myths, better than chains.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. I apologize for being late, but I could not get on. Okay, StreamYard kept saying that there was too much traffic. And so I had to keep trying and trying. But anyway, here I am. And so we're about to get into these receipts. All right. Hello, Pearly, Bookhorse DC. Daddy Joe is here. All right, Keisha, I see you, Tyra. Let's get into it. Yasan, 57 Beige Fox, Nubia Ra, Candy Girl is here. All right. Sheila, Lillian X, Lulu, Mr. Elevation. All right. Let's get into it. Dollface is here. Okay. Bronze Flat Power God. Okay, so with that all being said, everybody hit that like button. I see you, Deronda. Everybody hit that like button, like, share, subscribe, and all of that. Okay. Don't forget to click that notification bell. All right. So, hey, Danielle, beloved. Juju is here. All right. Angie. Shout out to all my loyal royals and everyone tuning into the Queen. I see you, Truth Brown, Wally. Okay. And shout out to my moderators because y'all know they be putting in work. I see you, Pretty Wings. Okay, so let's get into it. As per usual, I see you, Miss Tree. Miss Trees. With that all been said, let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
All right. So with that all been said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. I just look for Lisa Crafts. Okay, and don't forget you can purchase her products at Walmart. And she sells beard oil as well. Okay, so let's get ready to get into it. Likes up, everyone, please. Don't forget to like and share. That shows engagement and it helps us with the algorithm. Okay, so that have been said, where are we going to start? Let's go. Okay, listen. I was so annoyed yesterday because as soon as I closed out the live, the first thing I saw was they had released the GPS tracking of the boat that Nolan was on. I literally saw it as soon as I closed out the live. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So anyway, of course I was going to come right back. So yeah, let's talk about it. Likes up, everybody. Let's get into it. And we have the audio as well. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen.
To have your auto insurance rates reduced.
More developments in the Nolan Wells case we've been following.
Yeah, our CBS News partners revealing some new GPS data from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, tracking the movements of the boat Nolan Wells was on before he disappeared July 4th.
Will Polston joins us now live from the boat launch with more details. Good morning to you, Will.
Hey, good morning, Bill and Brandy. Good morning, everybody joining us at home. That's right. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources releasing the GPS data of where the boat that Nolan Wells was on July 4th and its whereabouts on that day, just to kind of narrow down that timeline a little bit more. Here's what we know from the data. 9:56 a.m., the boat left land and then went towards Horn Island, which had arrived around 11:14 a.m. Then the GPS data says that the boat left the island around 4:31 p.m. before traveling into Fort Bayou and returning to the dock at 6:06. Later that night, the boat went to the boat launch here at Fort Bayou and was pulled out of the water and taken back to the owner's home in Biloxi. Now, a DMR report also says that the owner of the boat, his mother, and one other person with Wells are all cooperating with the investigation. Now, this doesn't necessarily point to one person or point to anything in particular, but now there's concrete evidence of when and where the boat was at what times. We have heard reports that the boys left the island right around at 4:30, and now that's starting to, that is being backed up now. We'll see exactly what this does for the investigation as time continues. Live in Ocean Springs, Will Polston, WLOX News Now.
Okay. I have several questions, but hold on. Because let's go to this report from CBS. Okay, GPS data from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources obtained by CBS News tracks the movements of the boat that carried Noah Wells to Horn Island on July the 4th. Now, Wells was found dead after going missing following an outing on the island. So the vessel left a dock at approximately 9:56 a.m. that morning and arrived at Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. CBS News has previously reported that Wells was not on the boat when it departed the island. Now, according to the GPS data, the boat left Horn Island at 4:31 p.m. and returned to its original departure dock. It then traveled into Fort Bayou around 5:52 p.m. before returning to the dock at 6:06 p.m. Later that evening, the boat went to the Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19 p.m. And this is according to the MSDMR report. From there, it traveled over land, presumably towed by a vehicle to the Biloxi, Mississippi residence of the boat's owners. Now, what I find interesting is why did that boat, after it had docked, why did it later go back to Fort Bayou? Y'all don't find that suspicious? Y'all don't find that suspicious? Why did the boat go back to Fort Bayou? And how come we've never heard this before? See, they were not giving details, but hold on. Let's go to the audio. I have several questions.
Tonight, new audio shedding light on the moments before some of Nolan Wells' friends left Horn Island off the coast of Mississippi. A mom of one of the friends last week said the group left without Nolan when their boat began malfunctioning.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
NBC News has obtained audio as part of a records request that details the group calling for towing assistance.
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Nolan went to the island in a boat with friends on July 4th. His body was found 2 days later. It's unclear whether Nolan was with anyone when he disappeared. This as the search for answers in the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells continues. His family's attorneys saying they'll now work side by side with investigators to analyze Nolan's cell phone.
So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has.
Nolan's parents previously said they believe content may have been deleted from the phone. The case will be presented to a Mississippi grand jury once the investigation is complete. The local district attorney telling NBC News that's a standard practice for cases with an unknown cause of death and not an indication that a crime was committed. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter says his team has interviewed several witnesses and is working to get answers for the family. Do you feel like you're getting useful information that's been helpful to figuring out what happened?
Yes, sir. We're getting very useful information, and we appreciate the public coming forward with what they've had, and we don't want them to be hesitant.
Today, the family met with the district attorney for more than an hour.
It was just a meeting where she talked about the process. She didn't tell us any information about the investigation. We're trying to get to those answers.
As tonight, Nolan's family prepares to hold his funeral next week.
He would not want us to be sitting around crying and eating. And so what we're going to do is kind of have a party to celebrate him.
Tom, the state and independent autopsy results are not back yet. The family attorney says he does plan to release those details when he has them. Tom?
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the...
Okay, so I just have questions. Now, here's the thing. So they went back and forth. When did the boat start to sink? When was the boat taken in water? Because they pretty much had us under the impression that the boat started taking on water before they actually left the island. At least that's how the people that I've been talking to were thinking. But hold on. Let me go to this timeline and see what they have on here. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. And I'm going to tell you something. They're getting their lies and alibis together. I bet you that. And you know who's going to be left holding the bag? Javon. Okay, Javon. I told you all. Just remember I told you. Okay, he's going to be stuck holding the bag. That's what's going to happen. This is going to be all crazy. He should have just kept his mouth shut, going all on TMZ. Okay, here we go.
His investigators are working this case nonstop because it's very much active. And today we're learning more about the island at the time of Wells' death.
With a community clamoring for answers about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells during a July 4th boat trip with friends, the sheriff is asking for help and pleading for patience.
I think it's important that we don't put ourselves on a timetable and that we don't rush ourselves. But I do think it's important to be diligent in gathering all the facts That's what the family deserves.
Wells never returned from the barrier island off the Gulf Coast. ABC's Aaron Gatursky has spent days on the island.
The very thing that makes Horn Island such an idyllic spot to hang out for the day is what makes the case tricky for investigators. There's nothing here. There are no phones, there are no cameras, there's no police. It's why authorities have asked anyone who was here July 4th with Nolan Wells to come forward.
Even if you may think that it might be insignificant, every little bit helps. And that may be a bigger contribution than you think to this case.
A close friend of Wells, Tracyton Shepard, says the group spent the day swimming and drinking.
Well, we were just having fun all day, and then as the day went on, people started to drink more and people started to get more drunk.
The sheriff.
Now, I want you all to pay attention to that. Tracyton said people started to drink more and more, and as the day went on, people started to get more drunk. See, they're trying to put out the narrative that Nolan probably got drunk and drowned. Okay, but if he drowned, hey, how come nobody saw him? How come nobody didn't see him struggling or anything like that? Okay? And why aren't the police questioning all of them collectively to find out who supplied the alcohol? Who wouldn't purchase alcohol for these underage minors? Okay, how come they're not asking about that? You know something else that I have questions about? Now that we have the information on the boat tracking, I find it interesting that the last place they tracked the boat was, they say that later the boat went to the Fort Bayou boat launch at 7:19 p.m. And then from there, it traveled over land, presumably towed by a vehicle, to the Biloxi, Mississippi residence of the boat owners. But you know why I find that so interesting? Because didn't the witnesses say that it was reported to the police that, in fact, the boat was at the judge's house and they were scrubbing it clean at about 3 a.m. in the morning? If it went to the owner's houses, that is Wyatt. Wyatt is the owner of the boat, so that means it went to his house. But why don't they say where it went after that? Because allegedly it was at the judge's house being scrubbed. See how that little detail has not been included? Or is that detail not even true? Because I believe it absolutely is true. Okay, because they've not come out and denied it thus far. And also, this came from people who live there. Okay, and they say that it was reported to the police. So I just have several more questions. These people are lying. They are absolutely lying, okay? And if Ben Crump hadn't drawn more attention to this case and got that second independent autopsy done, they will be sweeping this right under the rug. That's what they will be doing, just like they did with Daniel Irving and all of these other people, okay, that have died in supposed accidental drownings. And also, if you remember, the father does not believe their story about Nolan staying behind for a girl, because his father specifically said, when directly asked if he believed Nolan was left behind on the island, his father responded, yes, I don't believe he decided to stay on the island by himself. It just doesn't, that's not his character. Those were his exact words. It's not his character, because he says he has always taught him, you go with the group, you leave with the group. You never leave the group. He instilled that in him. So what happened, and why did they go back to Fort Bayou's boat launch? Anyway, this is all crazy, but let's keep going, because now, and I like I said, I find it interesting that all of a sudden now they're talking about alcohol being involved. But let's continue.
The sheriff is now addressing whether drinking or drugs played a role in Wells' death.
Of course, the rumors are out there, but we don't respond to rumors. We respond to facts.
And as investigators attempt to build a full timeline of the teen's movements and whereabouts that weekend, this photo showing Wells at a pool party circulating widely online and has been shared by his family's attorney. But ABC News confirmed it was taken a week before he visited Horn Island. Authorities initially suspected Wells drowned, although the results of the autopsy by both officials and the one the family ordered are pending. On ABC News' visit to the island, they heard from a local boat captain about about how the scenic haven could quickly turn treacherous.
Down there at the end of the west end of the island, yeah, there's a current that can, get you really quick, and it gets deep.
So if you're an experienced swimmer, even that area of the island could be a little dodgy?
Yes, especially with the current down there at the very end. It kind of eddies. If you're out there trying to swim that deep, yeah.
Now, the sheriff has said Wells' death appears to be accidental and he drowned. His parents have hired civil rights attorney Ben Crump. They're conducting their own independent autopsy. We're told those results should come back sometime this week. The Jackson.
You know how that's so very suspicious because that sheriff keeps insisting that he believes it's an accidental drowning. But the thing is, why would you believe that when you don't even have a clue as to whether or not he actually drowned yet? Or maybe he does because the autopsy reports come out. I doubt it. I doubt the medical examiner has told him what's going on as of yet because they haven't finished everything, supposedly, according to them. But here's the thing. Why would he be so adamant with that even after seeing that the body wasn't even waterlogged? Why would he still be trying to convince people that, oh, yeah, it was just an accidental drowning? Like, why not even just wait to see? And then I'm going to tell you something else that he said that I thought was interesting. The sheriff, he said, we don't respond to rumors, we respond to facts. Well, he's a lie. He's a lie. And you know why he's lying? Because first of all, how do the police find out how do the police decide if something that a person has told them is a fact? They have to investigate it, right? They have to look into it. So somebody absolutely can tell you a rumor if you're a cop, and you're going to look into that because you don't know if it's a rumor or not until you investigate it. Okay? Now, hold on. Did someone say there's a troll in here? Moderators, take care of the trolls. Ashley Cole, I believe she be messing with her stepson. She's going too hard for the cover-up. I don't think that would have anything to do with their beloved, in my opinion. She's going hard for the cover-up because of her position. She's a judge, and what would it look like for her own stepson to be involved in murder? And of course, they're going to cover it up anyway because they don't want him going to prison. Queen, they're buying time to get their nefarious story together. That's what they've been doing. Okay, that's what they have been doing. But let's continue because this is all getting more interesting as the days go by. Okay, so now let's not forget they were talking about they're going to be sharing the phone information. Okay, they're going to be having Ben Crump's investigators look into the digital footprint, and as well, they're going to be allowing the police to do the same thing. And I'm glad that they were smart enough not to just give Nolan's phone to the police, okay, when they asked for it, because there's no telling what kind of tricks they have up their sleeves.
Developments in the mysterious death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells that we want to talk about tonight. Now, Wells disappeared after boating with friends on July 4th weekend. Days later, his body was found in the water near Horn Island off Mississippi's Gulf Coast. And while investigators have said that drowning appears to be the preliminary cause of death, even though the official findings from the autopsy haven't been released, his family has continued to raise questions, right? Why did he go off on his own? Why didn't he have a cell phone? How could no one help? How could no one notice? Well, today, the Jackson County District Attorney met face-to-face with Nolan's parents and their legal team for the first time. And after that meeting, the family announced that once investigators complete their work, this case is going to be presented to a grand jury. Now, to be clear, that doesn't mean charges are coming, but it does seem to suggest that jurors are going to review the evidence to determine whether any criminal charges should be filed. The family says the DA also made clear that no decisions about possible charges are going to be made until the sheriff's investigation is complete. And there's also another major development, and this involves one of the most important pieces of evidence in this case. Nolan's cell phone. The phone was reportedly with Nolan's friends. The family says that they believe content may have been removed from the device before it was returned. Now the phone is going to apparently undergo a joint forensic examination with both law enforcement and the family's independent experts reviewing the device together. They hope it can provide critical answers about Nolan's final hours. I want to bring in Dante Mills, a national trial attorney at Mills Legal. Good to see you, sir. Significant that the family met with the DA, but potential grand jury, does that signify to you that there's criminal culpability here?
Jesse, not yet. Listen, this is every parent's worst nightmare. You have your child goes out with friends and everybody comes back except your child. So I understand the position they're taking where they want answers. They want to know why this tragic situation happened, and they're willing to do anything to get those answers. And I think rightfully so. Any parent will feel the same way. But let's not jump to conclusions here. We also can't look at what the family is saying and kind of take that as law, because they're going to hear investigators talk the way they kind of want to ingest the information. So the investigators are saying, they're saying, listen, we're doing an investigation. We plan on moving forward. However, the evidence shows, the family can come out of that thinking, well, there has to be something there. So clearly they're going to have something to present to the grand jury, but that's not really the case.
And to be clear, it does not necessarily have to be or would be a homicide charge. There could be other crimes associated with this investigation, even if somebody misled law enforcement, which I'm not saying happened, but you could present anything to a grand jury, right?
Absolutely. And we don't have to be talking about murder or homicide. This could be an accidental death where there was evidence tampering, right? Where they tampered with the evidence, maybe deleted something from the cell phone that just seemed weird or odd, or put somebody else in a bad light. So they did that so they wouldn't look bad, even though it had nothing to do with the death itself.
I got to say, I'm a little confused by the cell phone. I've seen reports that the family hadn't initially handed over to law enforcement, and now it's going to be this joint examination, both by the family's experts and law enforcement's experts and investigators. How does that work exactly? Have you ever heard of that before?
I have. I've actually done those forensic analysis of electronic devices where I've had my expert go in and capture these devices, actually get them from the investigators themselves. It's a little different than when you're talking about blood samples or something like that, when you're passing it around and you don't want to do that because it could be, contaminated. With electronic evidence, those things are going to be consistent. It's going to show when a text message was sent, what was included in that text message. There's going to be time blocks and things like that that are really difficult to change and almost impossible to change. So I've had situations where I've done investigations at the same time as the federal or state investigators to try and get that data off of phones, laptops, computers, other things like that. It's different than what you normally think of like passing around blood samples or bullet, fragments or something, or fingerprints can be transferred or something like that.
Two things. One, there's also been a lot of talk about why he didn't have his phone, right? There's some conversation, well, if he went into the water, it'd be not uncommon for him to leave his phone behind. But then if he had gone off to talk with some girl, wouldn't he have his phone? Separate conversation. If it was in the if the phone was in the family's possession or in, Ben Crumb's possession for this period of time, does the evidence have to be excluded? Is it not contaminated in some way?
It doesn't. And that's just what we were just talking about. So I mean, some things are concrete, like that electronic data information of intent or received, or if it was deleted. If, say, for example, the family got it and someone's saying, well, the evidence is bad because the family could have added that, there's going to be an electronic footprint of when that text was sent. So if it wasn't sent before the death, then obviously it wouldn't be included in any investigation involving the death. That's a little different when you talk about how high stakes those electronic data is, and how actually it shows you how beneficial it is to have that, because that's concrete.
Look, the family needs answers. That's the bottom line. I know they're planning an independent autopsy. I know we're still waiting for the official autopsy from the state. So let's see what happens next. Dante Mills, good to see you, my friend. Thank you.
Always. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and down.
Okay. The real culprits of our society is the indulgence in the 7 deadly sins. We wouldn't be here without them. Okay. J Money says they try everything. Where'd that comment go? They try everything to keep from putting them in prison. You already know. Of course they do. That's the last thing they want to do, but they don't have a problem putting a Black person in prison. Okay. They don't have a problem with that at all. Let's go to this next clip. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Okay, now this is, let me see here. Okay, this is where Governor Tate Reeves spoke. I wonder what he has to say. It's so interesting how everybody's coming out trying to say something now, and the sheriff is acting like they're working so hard and so diligently. Okay, now that Ben Crump is on the case, now all of a sudden they're trying to call in the FBI to give them assistance and all of that.
Hear from the governor on the death investigation of Nolan Wells. Comes on the same day as parents and attorney met with leaders this morning. 16 WAPT's Carlos Garcia here with the latest on the case tonight. Carlos.
That's right. Well, today the family attorney said once the investigation into Nolan Wells' death is complete, it will be turned over to the DA. Governor Tate Reeves also speaking out about the case nearly 2 weeks after the teen's disappearance and eventual death. Nolan Wells was last seen on July 4th after being out with friends. His body found 2 days later in the water at Horn Island. Family and friends have spoken out about the kind of person that Wells was and say they're still searching for answers. When asked about the tragic incident, here's what the governor had to say.
I don't know all of the facts surrounding the case. I have yet to see a fact or a piece of evidence that suggests any foul play. But if there is, I feel confident that the sheriff's office, the district attorney's office, the members at the Department of Public Safety that deal with these crimes, if there had been one, they will find it and they will do what is necessary.
During a news conference with the family attorney, Ben Crump, we learned that Wells's parents and attorneys met with the Jackson County DA. They said the case will be turned over to a grand jury. They also said they will do a joint search of Wells's phone, which was not with him at the time of his death. And Crump called the meeting with the DA respectful, but said questions still remain tonight.
I wonder what they're going to find in that phone. That's really going to be interesting, in my opinion. Okay, now with that all being said, let's continue. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Says that their legal team, along with investigators, will simultaneously comb through Nolan's cell phone to determine not only any sort of forensics that might be there, but also whether any messages could potentially have been deleted as well. This is a next step, so to speak, as the group met with the local district attorney, who said that any facts and findings in this investigation will be turned over to a grand jury to determine whether criminal charges should and would be brought forth. Also, we are continuing to learn what may have happened on that July 4th holiday as well. As Wells, along with friends, were said to have traveled to Horn Island, which is about 10 miles away from where we are. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources released new information showing, while being tracked on GPS data, the boat left the mainland a little after 9 in the morning on July 4th, arrived on Horn Island at around 11:14 Central Time, and stayed out there really for the most of the day until those who were on the boat were concerned that it was taking on water, reaching out to officials to try to get assistance back to the mainland. Remember, it was Nolan's friends who told authorities that he chose to stay back on Horn Island and didn't want to go with the group. So a bit of new information there. Meanwhile, still waiting on the findings from both the independent autopsy being conducted by attorney Benjamin Crump and his legal team, as well as the state autopsy as well. We also have learned that the funeral for Nolan Wells is set for Monday at a church in Ocean Springs. The family of Nolan Wells says that their legal team, along with investigators, will simultaneously
Okay, so I want to go to this clip where I believe this is Ben Crump's public policy advisor on Newsmax getting into it, this racist man. The guy on Newsmax is so racist, he can't even try to hide it as far as I'm concerned. And then we're going to talk about some more of these previous drownings of Black people at lakes with people who didn't look like them.
Feeling, not a vibe. What is the evidence that anyone has produced that shows race had anything to do with this?
Well, we can talk about the evidence of what's been going on in America the last 400 years.
Talk about this case. Talk about this
I'm
case.
gonna talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it the way I want to talk about it. Now, if you've asked me to come on to be your guest, and I'm gonna talk about it the way I want to talk about it, sir. Now, you asked me a question based on what does race have to do with it. We can talk about Fannie Hamer and what she's talked about in Mississippi being a place of oppression. But as we talk about this case and what's important, if you do not want people to speculate, then investigate. The family, I'm not talking about those online, but the family has that questions be answered. And I would like to ask you, do you have a child?
I do not have a child.
Okay, well, I do. I have a 19-year-old daughter. I also had a cousin who was murdered, who was also a football star, who was murdered at 19. And it took us about a month to find his body. So maybe there's not empathy there from you, sir. I'm not sure.
There's nothing. This has nothing to do with a lack of empathy. You're calling for an investigation. Everyone is. Is there anyone who's saying that there shouldn't be an investigation?
It actually does, because you're jumping to race when the family.
I'm not jumping to race. I didn't hire Ben Crump. I didn't get Reverend Al Sharpton there.
Right. Well, the family is actually asking for questions to be answered. The family is actually wanting to know, why did his friends have his keys? The families actually wanted to know, why did they have his phone? Why did he leave? Why did he say he wanted to stay on the island by himself? These are all justifiable questions.
Agreed.
And I would assume that maybe if you were a parent, maybe you could empathize with wanting to know exactly.
You keep accusing someone of not showing empathy when I'm simply saying, have you seen even any evidence that suggests the police aren't doing investigation? I get that there is questions to be answered, right? What's the actual evidence?
Now, here's the thing. He's asking her, what's the actual evidence? And this is what I want you all to pay attention to, because they love to try to flip the script, okay, or to ask you something that they know you can't verify because we don't have all of the answers yet. But the thing of it is, even though you may not be able to verify it right then, they can't verify their point either. He said, where's the evidence, not a feeling, but the evidence that it's about race? Well, she should have asked him, where is the evidence, not your feelings or your opinions, that it is not about race? Okay, so it works both ways. And from their history, at least, here's the thing though, at least she has a logical reason. We all do have logical reasons for suspecting that it's about race. He has no logical explanation to think that it isn't about race because of not only their history, but the history of Mississippi specifically. And the history of Black people going off with white people and being the lone Black person and not returning home, specifically being found dead in lakes. And the cause is deemed as accidental drowning. There's a pattern of this. It's habitual. So what is he talking about? He sounds ridiculous sitting there trying to force her to prove her point, but he could never prove his. And he doesn't even have a foundation to stand on, at least nothing that's concrete. Okay, just the foolish, ignorant, stumbling blocks of his own imagination. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. Let's go to this TikTok. This guy gives his thoughts on this whole situation. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share.
Yeah, I see. I'm gonna have to delete that picture, that video I put out about his body being burned. God damn. The man lawyer is saying, the lawyer for the family, not Crump. They actually have a local attorney. He's a Caucasian person. He's saying eventually soon he's going to dispel that myth that Nolan drowned. So, see, this is pointing back to, I guess in Mississippi, man, you get so traumatized with this shit, man, until you try to give people some benefit of the doubt. You just want to think that this could happen. But then I'm thinking about this grand jury shit. But I know Mississippi gonna try to see if they can get them a scapegoat. And for some strange reason, this light-skinned looking joker who probably mixed, a Black boy, he started popping up in my mind. Nolan mama said he wasn't Nolan's friend. But I don't think he did nothing by himself if he did it. But Mississippi liked them old scapegoat. I'm thinking that grand jury gonna indict that boy. And before he can get to tell on them white boy, we're gonna try to go and knock him off. This thing just going crazy. This Nolan Wells situation getting crazy. I'm gonna have to probably delete that post about his body being burnt, because his body probably was actually burned. Man, I really wish this. Man, I hope the boy daddy right. This ain't no race situation, bro. God damn. This is fucking awful. Fuck.
Okay, so he appears to think that Trayston is going to be the scapegoat, but I think both Trayston and Javon. Okay, Negroes official says they think calling us racist is a flex. Left my A off. We don't care. We're going to call out the bulldog. Exactly. They think that's going to shut us up. Like they try to shame us into stop doing what we're doing or saying or thinking what we're thinking. Like get the hell out of here and get so pressed and stressed when we call out their racism. So now that makes us racist. Like they need to sit down somewhere. But this is all very interesting because slowly but surely the details are coming out. And I cannot wait to see what the autopsy report shows. Because I do not think that it's going to say that he accidentally drowned. Jay Gray said if they don't knock him off, they will be mentally tortured. Yeah, if they don't knock him off. Right. But here's the thing. You see, here's the fact of the matter. Trayston said that he got into an altercation over his girlfriend, right? He didn't say who the other person was. Now you have that person who reached out to Secret Service Sam, and I played you all the video yesterday, and that guy told Secret Service Sam that he didn't see the friends that Nolan rode with, but he does believe that Nolan got into an altercation. And then he brought up Javon and Trayston. So he's trying to paint the picture that Nolan was indeed involved in an altercation, but it was with Trayston. And then the fact that Trayston already admitted being in an altercation about his girlfriend, they're going to try to piece that together and make it look like he's the whole suspect and that possibly Javon helped him. And then when they have them on those interviews saying things that were lies, because they damn sure were lying on the interviews. Okay, I think they both were lying on those interviews. That's going to come out and that's going to make them both look crazy. And even that guy said to Sam that they told conflicting stories or said they were lying. But he said I think he said they were contradicting themselves in interviews. And he's getting the stuff together. So I'm telling you, they are absolutely going to be the scapegoats. And it's a darn shame. But see, that's what they get for sticking their necks out for these people. They were supposed to be Nolan's friends. Trayston, I don't know how well he knew Nolan because his parents clearly didn't even know him. That's right, Candy Girl said they're setting up a narrative. Negroes official said, or on the boat. Exactly. Blessed the Chosen says, I bet it'd be another murder in Mississippi to take the focus off of this case. Watch. You know what? At this time, I don't put anything past them. Now, Diane says, I don't believe the light-skinned boy did it. I believe it was those boys. They would not be trying to cover for him. No, that's what I think. I don't think it was the light-skinned boy at all. I absolutely think it was the three white guys and possibly some other people that they knew. Possibly even some other people that they knew. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's the light-skinned guys, Trayston or Javon. I'm just saying I think that they'll blame it on them. Okay? Just that they'll blame it on them. You know what I'm saying? So I just find it all interesting. And somebody sent me a video saying that judge Nubia Ross, somebody sent me a video saying that judge was in a white tea supremacist group. But hey, that's no surprise because I literally told you all the other day that these things happen when they're having clan initiations. And that because it was a 250-year anniversary of the United States, that they would absolutely be celebrating by doing something nefarious. Okay, so we already know that they're involved in these wanton supremacist groups. Probably all of them, the sheriff, all the deputies, okay, those kids' parents, and those kids could have been getting initiated that night And maybe that's why something happened to Nolan. I'm just saying, we already feel like wanton supremacy has been involved. At least I have. Now, with that all being said, let's go to some of these cases where other Black folk found themselves in the same situation. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
I don't know if y'all seen that video that's going viral on Twitter, and it's a young Black lady cussing out everybody on the dock. Well, come to find out, her younger sibling was in the water and was struggling to stay above water. Don't know what happened in the water, but either way, baby girl was struggling. She finally comes across a dock. She can't get up it because her hands are slippery. So she goes to around, and there is a ladder. The ladder belonged to a white man. What does the white man do? Pull the ladder up and says it is his, and she needs to go around. Mind you, she is struggling to stay above water. So instead of helping, he was going to watch her drown, then let her use that ladder. Also, noted, his children were out there. He's the example. They're watching him and how he treats Black people. Then the sister says that there were other white people out there saying that they shouldn't have been over there swimming. I don't know what that means because I didn't know anybody on that, but whatever. And then another one says, if you can't swim, why are you in the water? Once again, the best swimmers, anything can happen. It's the water. It's unpredictable. You do not know. But either way, y'all were more unsympathetic and was going to let her drown. So yeah, sister was cussing out everybody on that dock, as she should. As she should, because y'all were going to watch my sibling drown instead of helping. That's why I say sometimes I don't know if it's 2025 or 1719. But as long as people like him are still walking this earth and showing his children examples on how to treat other races, it will continue to go on.
Okay, so how crazy is that? Okay, AQG says that pool pick at the house is where they unalived Nolan. I seriously believe they had help from someone from the local police and the Coast Guard to place their body back on the island. Check all cams. Well, here's the thing, beloved. I feel like that could be the case too. That's why I told you all. That's why I was telling you all about how the Coast Guard, I'm sorry, not the Coast Guard, how the Cajun Navy, how they said when they were in the sky 300 feet below, they saw two boats close together. That was very suspicious to me. And it was also very telling because they didn't just say they saw two boats, but they said they saw two boats close together. And that just sounded suspicious to me. And then they said they saw the body lying there and it was not waterlogged. And then these other boats started showing up to secure the perimeter or something like that. So I definitely was thinking that the police, because the judge, I'm sure she's in good with all the police, okay, with all of law enforcement. So I absolutely think that that could be a potential, that maybe the police took the body and placed it there. I'm not saying that's concrete, but I darn sure don't put it past them because we know how they get down, specifically down in the South and in places like Alabama and Mississippi are the worst. So thank you for your insight into the topic, beloved, and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now let's go to this video. This is real crazy. Now listen to this. A white teenager tried to drown some children. I think this was in 2023.
Tries to drown a Black child while calling the Black child George Floyd. Put it up full mass. The story is going to boil your blood. A 14-year-old white child whose identity is John S. I'm withholding that last name because he's still a minor, even though the prosecutor decided to expose it. Faces charges in an alleged racially motivated murder attempt involving another youth. The suspect threatened the victim with a stone, called him the N-word, according to prosecutors. The incident occurred in Chatham, Massachusetts, at Goose Pond. You're looking at it on July 19th. The teenager was at the pond with two others, whom he reportedly told he could not swim. Reports say he was given a life jacket to support himself, and with this precaution, he got into the water, and the boys he had just met that day with those children. According to the DA, once in the water, the juvenile defendant proceeded to pull on the victim's life jacket and submerged him underwater 4 to 5 times, causing the victim breathing distress. The third juvenile laughed at the victim during the attempted drowning and referred to the victim as George Floyd, a press release said from the DA. The assault persisted as the 14-year-old swam beneath the black youth, attempting to seize his feet and submerge him again. They were trying to kill him. Prosecution asserts that the bullying ceased when the victim cried out for assistance from the shoreline, prompting a bystander to leap into the water, rescue him, and bring him ashore. The teen was indicted by a grand jury on attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon charge. The DA said the boy's records, quote, shall be open to public inspection in the same manner and to the same extent as adult criminal court records, adding that all proceedings related to this case will be open to the public. Now, what this 14-year-old kid attempted to do is extreme, it is violent, it is evil, it is criminal, and he should face punishment, severe punishment, try to kill somebody. And he knew what he was doing was wrong, bad, not legal. The DA says, I'm going to release his name. You know, DA, I have a recommendation for you because I think you're a good person. I want you to release the name of his parents. I want you to release the names of the people who taught him this. NBC 10 Boston identified the team and also spoke to the lawyer. NBC 10 Boston reached out to John S.'s lawyer for comment. The lawyer, Kevin Reddington, of the Boston Globe on Friday, said the charges are just over the top for what amounted to horse playing. They got out of control. He said it was appealing to the Superior Court to have John S. released. All of the people involved are juveniles, as are the witnesses, and all but John S. had their names redacted from the report. John S.'s name was not redacted because he's being tried as a youthful offender, which makes you a little more than a juvenile, okay? The teen attended a hearing on Thursday, August 31st. Inside of the juvenile court, a judge ordered that he be held without bail. His next appearance in court is set for September 13th. I agree with the prosecutor and everything the prosecutor's doing. All of it, okay? All of it. There's a bigger paradigm at play. What is it? That 14-year-old kid adopted, absorbed this kind of racism and hate. He wasn't born with it. His first opportunity, what did he try to do? Kill a black person and literally call that black kid the N-word? George Floyd. What does the 14-year-old know about George Floyd? Whatever his parents taught him. Whatever hate they spewed at that dinner table.
Now, let me tell you something. I never even heard of that story, but you know what? That was a whole hate crime. And I want you to pay attention to the fact that they said the police said that it was just horseplay that went too far. Let me tell you something. If black children did that to a little white child, specifically teenage black children, because we know how they call our teenage children adults. When they're 12 and up, they call them adults. So with that all being said, do you think it would have been the same thing, horseplay? Because here's the thing, this is what they always do. Whenever their nefarious children try to do something to harm a black child, they often say that it was horseplay when they do these things in groups. Because if you remember a few years ago, probably around 2018, 2017, somewhere around there, there was a little biracial boy and white teenagers, ages 14 and 15. I forget how many of them there were, but it was at least 3. They took him and hung him from one of those tires that kids swing on. And then they shoved him off of a picnic table. Now, he was 8 years old. He had to struggle to free himself. And the police, the sheriff said that it was just horseplay. Nobody got arrested. Boys being boys. Okay? Yeah. They tried to lynch him. Hold on. Oh, so crazy. And this is the thing. They always want to make it so, minuscule. They want to minimize what they do. In August of 2017, an 8-year-old biracial boy survived a near hanging in Claremont, New Hampshire, after a group of older teenagers allegedly taunted him with racial slurs, placed a tire swing rope around his neck, and pushed him off of a picnic table. The child survived with significant neck abrasions. Now, what happened? According to the boy's family, older teenagers put the rope around their necks and told the boy it was his turn. So they tricked him. They did it to themselves first and then told him it was his turn. Mind you, he's 8 and they're whole teenagers. When the boy complied, one of the teens pushed him off the table, leaving him dangling by his neck. The boy's sister screamed for help. The boy swung back and forth before either untying the rope or having it slide off, allowing him to escape. He was treated at a hospital for severe rope burns and then released. The child's family reported that the teens were hurling racial slurs at him before and during the attack. This is a whole hate crime. The case prompted a major investigation by the New Hampshire Attorney General's office, which examined the event as a potential hate crime and civil rights violation. The parents of the primary teen involved maintained that the incident was an unintentional backyard accident, claiming their son tried to prank or startle the 8-year-old into jumping rather than pushing him deliberately. As if that makes it any better. In August of 2019, the New Hampshire Department of Justice released its investigative findings, concluding that there was insufficient evidence to charge the juveniles with a hate crime or civil rights violation. State officials, including the state Supreme Court, subsequently denied a request to release the full investigative records, citing laws protecting the confidentiality of juveniles. This is what they do. But you let that had been Black children that did something like that and had the nerve to say that it was in fact just a joke. And let me just show you all how that little boy's neck looked. Would I tell you, honey, if that had been my child, either one of my sons, honey, they would have me, I would be in prison right now. Okay, right now. Okay? Because this is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, the amount of hate. And we already know where they learned this from. Now, here's the report.
Racism in New Hampshire, where an 8-year-old boy injured by a rope around his neck in an apparent hate crime. That boy is biracial, and his family says he was playing with a group of teenagers when they started using racist taunts.
And today, the governor ordered the state to investigate. Liam Martin joins us now. Liam, this is really disturbing.
Lisa and David, very disturbing. The boys involved are minors, so information at this point is scarce, but the boys' family did speak, and they are deeply disturbed. Images of an 8-year-old with rope burns and neck bruising have gone viral. His mother posted them, claiming 2 14-year-old boys in Claremont, New Hampshire, tied a rope around her son's neck and pushed him off a picnic table.
I almost lost my grandson. I almost lost him. How he survived that without any internal injuries is amazing to me. I think he had a guardian angel out there.
The boy was medevaced to Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center, where he was treated and released. The family says the pictures were posted to bring attention to the case because they claim police were not responding fast enough. The 8-year-old boy is biracial.
28 years on the force. Ever get a call on a hate crime?
We have investigated hate-related crimes.
Claremont Police Chief Mark Chase says he can't discuss details because everyone involved is a minor, but says they are taking the incident seriously.
I have faith that my officers are doing everything and anything they can to further investigate this little boy's injury.
Now, CBS News is reporting tonight that the boy swung from his neck 3 times before he was able to remove the rope himself. None of the teams implicated in the case came to his aid. As of right now, no charges. David and Lisa?
And they didn't even try to help him at all. Low down dirty devils. Okay, low down dirty devils. They didn't even try to help him. And they sat there and taunted him even as he was trying to free himself and then left him there. That is a darn shame. And you mean to tell me they didn't go to jail? What kind of mess is that? They literally almost killed him. They should have gone to jail for attempted murder. Had that been black children, 14-year-olds, honey, they would have been tried as adults. You imagine a little white child having that happen to him. And let me tell you how you know that for a fact. Because do you all remember the rapper who got killed back in 2018, XXX Tentacion? You all remember that video where he had the little boy and they put the rope around his neck? Hold on. I'm going to see if I can pull that up. I'm not going to play the music, but meanwhile, let's go back to this story of this little boy named Noah Bush. You all remember I reported on this. 2 little white boys tried to kill him too. Okay, well, they did kill him. And I believe their mother was involved. Hold on. Let's go to it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Home to play with friends and never returned.
This was not just an accident.
The 8-year-old couldn't swim.
My son has always had a fear of water.
That's why his family now has questions. Police found him hours later here in a burrow pit. He drowned, and investigators were quick to say, no foul play.
We were just being ignored.
But ring camera footage has now surfaced what the boy's so-called friends were seen doing the evening that Noah Bush went missing. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
Okay, now that's just a darn shame. That is just a darn shame. That's what these devils do. But hold on. Do you all remember the other day? I almost forgot about this. Listen, do you all remember the other day when I showed you all a video of this white guy laughing and talking about how, you know, they take us out there and drown us because they know we can't swim? Put a 1 in the chat if you all remember that. Put a 1 in the chat if you all remember that. He was sitting there talking about, he was laughing about it. It was funny to him. And he was like, oh, yeah, we take y'all out there and drown y'all because we know you can't swim. Right? I want y'all to see what happened to him. Now, I was trying to find, okay, let's get into it because I almost forgot to show you all this. Also, there's a video before the video of him. There's a video of this guy talking about what happened to Nolan. Okay, let's get into it. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
Then they killed the black dude at the pool. Then they took his body back to the island. The sheriffs know it. The judges know it. And everybody involved knows it. But now what are they using? They're using DARVO. What is DARVO? DARVO is deny, attack, and reverse the accuser and the victim, right? Now they're claiming, oh, the judge is a victim, right? Oh, we're victims now. We're getting, it's all fucking bullshit, man. You know what's going to come out of this Nolan Wells murder story? How corrupt our courts and law enforcement are. That's what's going to come out, because no matter what the Illuminati does going forward, it will all be exposed. The awakening is happening, right? It is the apocalypse, which means your eyes open. It's not Armageddon. So you watch what happens with this Nolan Wells story. First of all, this is a satanic ritual to try and start a race war. That's it. And now all the lies are coming out. Oh, we just found his body washed up on the beach. No, his body was beat to shit, man. Right? So what are we really learning here, people? Yeah, did they kill a black man? Yes. Why? To start a race war. Why? Because they're fucking corrupt, and that's what the Illuminati does, man. Just like when I called, because this whole property right here, right, was filled with fiberglass and my well was filled with arsenic. So what did they do? The police sent a fucking SWAT team to my house and tried to shoot me, then threw me in jail, and then poisoned me in jail, right? And then when none of that worked, then they fucking tortured my little kid. Because that's how law enforcement works, people. That's how the courts work. This is a Masonic world we live in. And our courts are corrupt, and our judges are corrupt, and our therapists are corrupt, and our schools are corrupt, and our money's corrupt, and it's all corrupt. And you know what? And you don't give a fuck. Why? Because most of you are part of it. But let me just tell you this, because this message really is for the occult. No matter what you do going forward, you will be exposed. And what's going to come out of this Nolan Wells story? The cops are corrupt. The sheriff is corrupt. The judge is corrupt. Right? That's what's going to come out of it, because there's nothing the occult can do to stop the apocalypse.
You guys remember him?
You throw them in that water. I say, swim, boy, swim. What?
Yeah, you guys remember now, right? Remember how everyone was asking me what his real name was? I know everyone wanted to know where he was. Jacksonville, Florida. Remington, since you decided to put my face on your white supremacy page, I think we should call it even, shouldn't we? Because I saw you put my video up on your account, sir. So now, we're even, aren't we? There's just certain things you don't do, you know? Like you don't put a black girl's face on your white supremacy page. That's something you just don't do. Because I didn't put your name out there. Now, did I? Since we're playing that game, looks like both of us are playing that game. Have the day you deserve, sir.
Remington is shook. Keep applying pressure, y'all. Watch this man crack before your eyes.
Well, guys, the hunt for me is over. They got me. They know my name, my address, everything. You know, I knew it was going to happen. After the Walmart video went viral, all I got was just constant threats. Then the other video went viral, and then that was a definite, you know, they would find out who I am. But there's that. Well, I guess, you know, my followers out there that don't know my name is Remington. But yeah, I guess we'll see what the fuck happens. Still stand by everything I say.
He looks like he wants to cry.
And then the FBI reached out to somebody related to me. I don't know why they didn't reach out to me. I don't know why they haven't come talk to me. But they asked them if I had anything to do with the what's his fucking name? Nolan. The Nolan Wells situation, because of the video of me mocking these idiots, saying those boys did it. And I guess I said, you know, we did it, but clearly I meant we as in, you know, these people, this skin tone people. Clearly these morons do not understand satire. And another thing I saw in the comments was talking about beating my ex-wife. So just to clear that up, you know, that was 10, 11 years ago, and nobody got beat. It was not a beating. And actually, if you see the report, I mean, I've never even looked at the report, maybe since court and all that. I don't even know if I really even looked at it. But there was no beating. It was me snatching my own fucking keys out of her hand.
Well, we looked at the court document and it says simple battery, sir. You beat your wife.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll see what happens. Definitely going to be interesting. Going to have to leave home. Going to have to go through all kinds of changes and inconveniences because people in this country don't like the fucking truth.
Yes, it's because of all of us that you now have to change your location and be inconvenienced. You're inconvenienced because of your racist ass mouth.
They're angry about the fucking truth. It's ridiculous. This country is so fucked up. Anyways, fuck y'all.
Okay, you heard that, right? Well, I don't even know, LOL. Went to go speak to my boss this morning before everyone got there. I'm walking up to the building and I can hear the phone ringing inside over and over. So I knew it was them. told him what was going on, and he already knew. So I left him the keys to the work truck, and that's that. Everybody in my family is telling me that I don't need to be home. I need to go somewhere. I don't know. Pretty shit. I don't want to say the word, but anyway, itty at the moment. I don't know. I need to find an all-white company. Please pay attention to this part. I need to find an all-white company somewhere to apply. I don't know if that will even work. My company was all white when I started 6 years ago. The owner had just passed and his wife took over, and she's turned the company half them ends. Okay, talking about black people now, ends. Okay. If he was still here, I don't know. I guess he thinks he would still have his job. Okay, he said he was a Baptist white man. I don't think I would have issues. I don't think I would have much issues right now. So I want you all to pay attention. Okay? I want you all to pay attention. Now, first of all, he went on to say that they can't take satire, as if he was joking. Now, we know that he wasn't joking, but he said they can't take satire as if he was just kidding around. And then at the end says, people are mad about the truth. Okay, yeah, so you weren't joking, sir, to stupid self. DCB, thank you, beloved. I really appreciate your super chat donation. Okay, peace, love, and blessings. All right, sitting there trying to tell a side story like anyone's supposed to have empathy and sympathy for him. But here's what I want to show you all. Okay, so that's right. Danger said excuses. You're the problem. Exactly. He brought this on himself. But I don't understand why these racist people don't understand that they may have consequences. Like when he came out and said that, and it's funny because I was thinking the other day, I wonder if that guy's going to get fired from his job. And then I thought, well, maybe he owns his own business or something to be talking that crazy and showing his whole face. But let me just tell you all something. Like I said, if that had ever been a white child and some black kids did that to them, they would absolutely have consequences because they got so upset. If you all remember XXXTentacion's video, okay? They said that was racist. They said that was racist, and many of them were mad and upset. And I remember thinking, it's called Look at Me, Odd Negroes Official. The name of the song is Look at Me. That was the first song I saw by him. That's when I was like, that young man he's going to be a star. And here's the thing. At the end of the video, I didn't want to play any of the audio so I don't get a copyright claim from YouTube. But at the end, he's sitting there reading about what happened to Emmett Till. He's reading about what happened to Emmett Till down in Mississippi. Okay, so that's why this story that's going on with Nolan, this whole thing just made me think about that. Because everyone that's black should absolutely know the history of Mississippi. And specifically, if you know nothing else, you should absolutely know what happened to Emmett Till. And that's what this all seems like. Seems like the same thing. And also, especially now that we know that Nolan's face was so unrecognizable that they had to use dental records. Okay? Oh, so crazy. But anyway, with that all being said, listen, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Shout out to the replay gang. And for the replay gang, there won't be a chat. There won't be a chat when you watch the video, when some of you watch the video, because I'm going to have to edit it at the 1 hour and 7 minute mark because that guy in the video said the R word, tardation. Okay? That's what he said. So I'm going to have to edit that out. Anyway, with that all being said, listen, I hope you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. I'll probably be back later at around 6:30 or 7. So until then, everyone, each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got